Hi everyone, this is Dr. Anuja Joshi. I am a consultant periodontist at Joshi's Dental Clinic, Hubli. Now, very often we do see a lot of female patients who have a lot of gum issues, starting from gum bleeding and going on up to tooth loss. So, we thought women's oral health, especially in particular phases of life, like puberty, pregnancy, menopause, and also in female diabetics, it is very crucial and it is all interconnected, the gum health and also their systemic health. So we thought why not do a short Q&A, and we had kept our lines open for questions from you all if there were any regarding oral health. And thank you so much, we've had many questions. So we'll just be going through a few of them. We have screened some, and we'll start off with the most common ones first. Starting with gum bleeding. Gum bleeding has been a very common problem, not just actually in females but in most of the patients, also in young adults. So usually plaque and tartar get deposited at the junction of our teeth and gums. Now this plaque and tartar otherwise does not give rise to any significant amount of bleeding. But if left there for say a considerable amount of time, 3 months is quite a bit. So in that case, all of this tartar and plaque starts irritating our gums, or it causes some sort of irritation in the gums, and that is reflected in the form of gum bleeding. Usually when a female goes through pregnancy or puberty or even menopause, there are a lot of hormonal changes that go on in her body. There is a sudden rise in certain hormones and then they suddenly dip. And what happens is, this gives rise to a little exaggerated response from our body towards all these factors like plaque and tartar. So a young adult who is not in any of these phases, who's not a diabetic, who's fit and healthy, and he has say some amount of, say X amount of plaque and tartar on their tooth or teeth, and the same amount of plaque and tartar is seen say in a 18-year-old or a 30-year-old pregnant female, then the response of the gums to that plaque and tartar is different in these two individuals. It is highly exaggerated or a lot more in a female who is undergoing some hormonal changes in her body. So that is why there is excess amount of bleeding sometimes from your gums in such cases. Now when this plaque and tartar, it remains there for a long time, what happens is, our teeth, firstly gums are the main support of our teeth. So it starts with gum irritation, then gum bleeding. Once it goes on staying there for a long time, the plaque and tartar hardens, it becomes black in color, and gradually it starts to give rise to some amount of tooth mobility. So all these, once there is a little bit of tooth mobility, then there will be some amount of tooth movement. So many a times people say that, there was never any spacing in my teeth, but I'm noticing this spacing say at the age of 40 years, 50 years. Now there can be many reasons for this, but one of the reasons is because there has been weakened gum support or weakened periodontal support because of plaque and tartar that has been there for a long time. The other reasons are, of course, it can be because of we need to check the occlusion, and so many other things are there. Talking about gum bleeding, so if you have any such problem of gum bleeding, you should, it's advisable that you first seek professional help from someone like a gum specialist, or also called as a periodontist. The first step to go about treating that problem would be scaling, or usually in dental terms it is called as scaling, or you also refer it as teeth cleaning, like you and I or most people understand. Now many times people say that they have already got their teeth cleaned once, but after 6 months or 8 months the bleeding has started again. Now that is because once your teeth are cleaned, the gum starts to heal, and say in about 8-10 days your gums probably may come back to how they were, and the bleeding may come down and everything may look very nice. But then again, there is also some amount of maintenance that is required from your side for the gums to remain at that particular stage. So when the brushing is not happening the way it should, then again there is some new deposit of plaque and tartar again on at those junctions, and you again have gum bleeding. So it is not like you get your cleaning done once and the gum bleeding goes and it never comes back. So So it's really a two-way process where both you and your dentist have to work. You have to be put on a certain recall, and your brushing simultaneously has to improve. You should be more aware of your oral health, and then definitely there will be reduced gum bleeding. So the most common questions were of gum bleeding, of maybe some increased spacing. Again, the third one was of yellowish teeth. Now yellowish teeth deposits are actually plaque and tartar which need to be cleaned, and once they are cleaned, your teeth will look clean. But sometimes the teeth are naturally slightly yellow in color. So that is something that's not got to do anything with your oral health as such. And it's just like a skin tone. The teeth also have their own color, and which may be white, yellow, and it keeps changing. Sometimes the front teeth are white, the behind ones go on changing in shape. So that's absolutely fine. If it is of concern to you, then there are different treatment options available, and you can seek help from your dentist for that. Some people have also asked about how can they take care of their gums during pregnancy. Now during pregnancy, there is a specific period where dental treatment is regarded safe, and it is possible for the dentist also to give you dental treatment during that phase. So that is ideally the second trimester of pregnancy, or months 4, 5 and 6. So if there are any dental issues which need to be looked into, then that would be the ideal time that you go to a dentist and get your necessary treatment done. Along with that, I would also say that if there are any plans of, if you are looking at getting pregnant or conceiving, then in that case, dental treatment or just a checkup of your teeth is something you must plan accordingly, and it should be done maybe before you try and get pregnant. So that is one thing that you should keep in mind. There are a couple of other questions which I got. There was someone who had asked that is gingivitis in pregnancy any different from gingivitis that we normally see? Well, I would say the gingivitis as such, gingivitis is nothing but inflammation of the gums becoming red, the gums bleeding. So is that any different in pregnancy? No, it is not different in pregnancy, but the response of the gums to this gingivitis in pregnancy is different. It is more easy, it gives way to easy infection, easy bleeding, easy other loosening of teeth, easy weakening of gums. And so that is why it is important that if you are planning pregnancy, please get your dental checkup done well in time. And again, you can go in even if you don't, once you get pregnant and you still don't have any dental complaints, I would suggest please visit a dentist in the second trimester to make sure there is nothing new that's going to come up in the third trimester. Apart from that, if you are a diabetic or if there is anybody else at home who is also a diabetic, then they must know that diabetes is now, your gum health is now the 6th complication of diabetes. This has been stated by the American Dental Association, and it is now recognized as the 6th complication of diabetes. Now, what happens in diabetics is that in general, when a person is diabetic, their healing is slightly slowed down. So the kind of response that we expect after treatment, maybe if we expect it in 7 days, it will take a little longer time in a diabetic patient. Secondly, another very important thing in diabetics is that they have significant dryness of mouth. And we all know that it's very important that our mouth is moist all the time. Saliva is extremely important because all the germs and all the food that we eat, it keeps getting washed because of our saliva. So when there is dryness of mouth, there are increased chances of your gums becoming dry, which gives rise to easy bleeding of your gums. There is increased chance of bad breath from your mouth. There is also increased chance of or a risk of more caries that can be seen in a patient who has dry mouth. So also the gingiva, they are very sensitive. The gingiva becomes very spongy and it's very red, very inflamed. The minute we touch it, it starts bleeding. So such things can be avoided if a routine regular 6-month checkup and cleaning is done. Everything can be kept at a standard level. So gum health is extremely important in diabetics, and if there is anyone like that at your home, you must make sure that they come for their dental visits every 6 months, irrespective of whether there is any dental problem or no. Another important thing is scaling or oral prophylaxis. It has been proved and shown to reduce your blood sugar levels over a period of time. There has been enough and more literature, you can Google through it, and there is no question about it that keeping your oral health clean and getting regular scaling done, say at 6 months or 8 months, helps improve your blood sugar levels. So this is another very important thing. If you have anybody in the family who is a diabetic, then make sure that oral health is also given equal importance. Then yes, there were a lot of questions about which toothpaste to use and which toothbrush to use. Any toothpaste and any toothbrush is fine. It really doesn't depend on which brush and which paste you use. So use whatever the family uses or use whatever is suitable for you. But it's the technique that is important. So that is another thing. When you visit your dentist or a gum specialist, usually after the cleaning is done, they will tell you about what is the right technique for you to brush your teeth. In case that has been missed, then you are well read, you know everything is there at your fingertips. So please go ahead and ask them to show you the correct brushing technique for your teeth. So it's very important how you brush, learn it right. Even if it takes time, you still have to learn it right. And then just use any brush and toothpaste, it really doesn't matter. There were some questions which are not related to perio as such or not related to gums as such, but then there were people who were asking that root canal, after root canal they have not had, probably their filling has come off, and do they need to get their root canal done again? Well, ideally after root canal and after the permanent filling, after post root canal, you should ideally be getting a cap or a crown. So if you have missed out on getting that done, please visit your dentist. Make sure that everything inside the tooth and the root canal is fine. There is no new infection there. And if everything looks fine, then yes, you must get a cap done on the root canal treated tooth. Another thing is there were a few questions on wisdom teeth. Now wisdom teeth, which is not paining as of now, probably it had pained earlier, and after medication it has been fine and not troubling, and the lady is planning, she wants to conceive, so does she want to get the wisdom tooth removed? Now ideally, if you know that it is a problem tooth and it has already given you trouble earlier, then why take a chance? I would still suggest that get it removed if it is of no use in the mouth, if it has not erupted correctly, and if your dentist has advised extraction or removal of that wisdom tooth, then do not wait for you to get pain again, and please get that removed. There was someone who had even asked about is there any particular precautions to be taken in someone who is undergoing chemotherapy. So when a patient is undergoing chemotherapy, the first thing is that it has to be done in coordination and after consent and discussion with the oncologist, because there are certain things to be followed if there is any invasive dental treatment that needs to be done. So it's always better that the dentist and the oncologist have a talk about what can be done, what not can be done, and how to go about doing things. But anything that is non-invasive, say a routine cleaning or scaling procedure where there is not significant bleeding expected, again with the consent of the oncologist, should not be a problem. And in general, please make sure that good oral hygiene is maintained. Another patient, I think this will be the last patient that we take up for now. This was about powered toothbrushes. There was one lady who asked that her teenage daughter is probably bored of brushing. She gets bored brushing normally, and can we shift to a powered toothbrush in such a case? Well, I am not really an advocate of powered toothbrushes where it's not indicated. It is not meant for someone who can brush normally. It is for people who have some physical problems, and in those cases these powered toothbrushes can assist them in maintaining their oral hygiene, otherwise not. So I would still say that, don't get her into the habit of powered toothbrushes, and if she's really bored of brushing, just send her to me. I'll take care of it. So that's all for now, and thank you very much for all your questions. And even though we are not taking in any more questions, you can always reach us. You have all our numbers on our website, so please call us anytime. You can come visit us, and but please make sure that you always maintain good oral hygiene. And I would say good oral hygiene starts from us in the house. So being a lady, if you are aware and concerned about the oral hygiene of your family, we go on spreading smiles and healthy teeth in other families too. So thank you very much and have a nice day. and enjoy your Women's Day. Thanks.